to my Lord and be free. The night when she got arrested, she told me, she said, boy, in her Alabama accent, what's the history book says about me, why I didn't give up my seat? And I said, well, cause it said because your feet were tied. My feet wasn't tied, boy, my soul was tied. She said, don't you know that night when they arrested me, boy, that they were turning on the lights, playing with the light switch. And they started saying, calling me all kind of names, and I started crying, boy. She told me this sitting on the couch. 3 hours we had to talk in the living room in Anaheim, California, 1994. And she said, but as I was about to break and cry, I remembered what my grandmother, who was a slave, taught me. She said, you are God's child. Yes. Don't you ever think you are nothing but the child of the King. And whenever you feel scared, you just start singing this song, oh, freedom. And that was her favorite spiritual, was oh, freedom. She had me sing that for her in place of the Black National Anthem. I said, okay, no problem. But Dr. King was speaking to his congregation in the north. And he was letting them know that there was a song that was the theme song of their movement. And he was explaining to them what that song meant. And it went a little bit like this. There's a little song that we sing in our movement down in the South. I don't know if you've heard it, but it has become the theme song, We Shall Overcome. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. Though I join hands with students and others behind jail bars singing it, we shall overcome. Sometimes we've had tears in our eyes when we joined together to sing it, but we still decided to sing it, we shall overcome. Oh, before this victory's won, some of us will be thrown in jail some more, but we shall overcome. Don't worry about us. For this victory's won, some of us will even have to face physical death. Physical death is the price that some must pay to free their children from a permanent psychological death. Then nothing shall be more redemptive. We shall overcome. Or before this victory's won, some will be called names and dismissed as rebel rousers and agitators. We shall overcome. And I'll tell you why. We shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. We shall overcome because Carlyle is right. No lie can live forever.
Yes.
We shall overcome because William Cullen Bryant was right. Truth crushed to earth will rise again. We shall overcome because James Russell Law was right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown, standing guard within the shadows, keeping watch above his own. We shall overcome because the Bible is right. You shall reap what you sow. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. And with this faith, let us go out and adjourn the councils of despair. Bring new light into the dark chambers of pessimism. We will be able to rise from the fatigue of despair to the buoyancy of hope. And this will be a great America. We will be the participants in making it so. So as I leave you this evening, I say to you, walk together, children. Don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land.
So many wonderful blessings and so many open doors. A brand new mercy with each and every day. That's why I pray. And for this I give you praise.
Yes, yes, it's all right.
Let me sing the that's why I praise you along this narrow way. That's why I praise you. For this
If it costs me my life, you'll be able to go to Fun Town or any town. So he admonished his audience by saying, whatever God gives you to do, be your best. No matter what it is, be your best. Because if you are your best with little, he will give you much. And this speech, this short speech, 1966, Ebenezer Baptist Church, Atlanta, Georgia. Be the best at whatever you are. Listen very well and make this apply to you in 2017. Greatest challenge that we face is to be ready to enter these doors when they open. Ralph Waldo Emerson said in a lecture back in 1871, if a man can write a better book, preach a better sermon, or make a better mousetrap than his neighbor, even as he builds his house in the woods, world will make a beaten path to his door. This will become increasingly true. That means we're going to have to work hard. We're going to have to learn to burn the midnight oil sometime. All right. Take advantages of new opportunities. We must not seek merely to do a good Negro job if you are setting out to be merely a good Negro doctor, or a good Negro lawyer, or a good Negro preacher, or a good Negro teacher, or a good Negro barber, or a good Negro skilled labor, or a good Negro beautician. Then you have already flunked your matriculation exam for entrance into the University of Integration. We must get ready. All right. We must set out to do our life's work so well that nobody can do it better. We must set out to do a good job and to do that job so well that the living, the dead, or the unborn couldn't do it better.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I've said so often, if it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, go out and sweep streets like Michelangelo called Mark.
Yes.
Sweep streets like Raphael painted pictures. Sweep streets like Beethoven composed music, and like Shakespeare wrote poetry.
Yes.
Sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived the world's best street sweeper who swept his job well.
Yeah.
Or if you can't be a pine on the top of a hill, be a shrub in the valley, but be the best little shrub on the side of that hill. Can't be a tree, you be a bush.
Yes.
Can't be a highway, just be a trail.
Yes.
If you can't be the sun,
Yeah.
For it isn't by signs that you win or you fail.
Yes.
You be the best at whatever you are. Thank you. I got away from that speech. I had flashbacks of being 12 years old. But I shall go on, and I promise it won't end up like, free at last. It was August 28th, 1963, and Dr. King was speaking, more than 250,000 in attendance at the Lincoln Memorial. It's gone down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest speech of the 20th century. I Have a Dream. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to the millions of Negro slaves that had been seared in the withering flames of injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of the vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, life of the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society, and he finds himself in exile in his own land. So today we've come to dramatize a very shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the great architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the inalienable rights of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. But it is obvious today America's given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient funds. We refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nature. So we've come to cash a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now's the time. Rise from the dark, desolate valleys of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now's the time. Make justice a reality for all God's children. Oh, I say to you today, my friend, so even though we face the difficulty of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners one day be able to sit down together at the table of justice. I have a dream that one day, state of Mississippi, state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will one day be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. One day, my four little children, one day be able to live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
That's all right.
I have a dream that down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. Right there in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls one day be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that every valley will be exalted. Every hill and mountain will be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation to a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when we can sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside let freedom ring. And if America's to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the Highland and every city. We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics,